Okay, let me welcome you all to another one of our paid co-founder trainings. We do this every Monday and Thursday at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and it is Monday, October 13th on the East Coast of the US. And we got people joining us from all over the world here. Some of us are already on the 14th, but like where I'm at here in the Philippines, it's the 14th for me, 9:30 in the morning. All right, so we just got done watching a video by a young Asian lady who was kind of identifying that, there's an issue when it comes to this whole AI thing, that it seems to be escalating to the point where she mentions in her video, a lot of white collar jobs are going to be gobbled up by this AI very quick, very, very quick. Next couple of years, a lot of people won't have a job anymore because AI can do their job for them, you know. One of the big industries here in the Philippines is something I think they call it BPO, but basically it's a call center. It's what brought me here originally in the first place. I had a need to set up a call center at one time, and I came here for that reason. And I had at one point about 20, people on the phones working for me when I first came here. Anyway, so what's interesting about this technology is that it already can make like 10,000 phone calls simultaneously and carry on a unique conversation with each person. It already has that capacity, you know, and it's only getting better and better and better at it. And before you know it, um, that could just wipe out a complete industry over here in the Philippines, which, a lot of those office jobs I keep talking about, those $10 a day office jobs, our call center positions, and for various reasons. So the world's changing. We're not completely in a full AI world right now. We're at the cusp of it, like the foam of a wave before the wave actually hits us. A little bit of foam is hitting us right now in 2025. The real wave has not hit yet, but when it does, it's gonna shock the world. And the construction connect. All right, so I am recording, right? So we are recording. We're good. All right. Sometimes I get reminders, but I also want to go ahead and open up the chat so that those of you that are eligible for paid training, go ahead and put your wallet address in there, and Nancy and others are going to gather those up, and we'll be sure to get you paid as quickly as possible. All right, so I've got so much to cover today. Let's see if I can consolidate and condense it down so we don't spend too much time in a monologue. So, from her perspective in that video, she's thinking that somehow somebody at the top has got to figure this out and make it all better. Okay. Well, they have, but you know what their solution is? Depopulation. It's their go-to. So let me ask, I'm gonna pick on somebody. Let me grab Graham out of Australia. How you doing, Graham?
Thanks, Ash. Yeah, I'm good.
Looks like you're in the vineyard with all the grapes hanging behind you. So,
Yeah, I wish. Got rid of that years ago.
all right. Let me see if you can answer this question correctly because most people can't. But let's see if you're a clever guy and if you know the answer to the question. What is the number one leading cause of unnatural death in the last 100 years? What's the number one leading cause of unnatural death in the last 100 years? What do you think that is?
Unnatural.
Unnatural, cause of death.
COVID, no.
Okay. We
Yeah,
got
possibly COVID.
we got people guessing for you
Because
in the last 100 years.
the
Suicide.
last 100 years.
All right,
Unnatural.
when somebody guessed suicide, that was Gregory Jones, right?
Yeah, sorry if I spoke up too soon.
no, it's okay. But suicide is not the number one unnatural cause of death, but it is unnatural, right? Suicide
Yeah.
is definitely unnatural. And it
So,
actually, there is actually a word that rhymes with suicide that actually covers this particular version of death.
homicide.
It's not even homicide, believe it or not. But it's
Right.
but you could say it's a version of
Suicide?
it's a kind of
Genocide.
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 okay, we're getting much closer now. But genocide is another one, and even that one is smaller than this one. Okay, and I'm gonna go ahead and let the cat out of the bag. It's called democide. How many of you are familiar with the term democide?
No, never heard of it.
Never heard of democide? Okay.
No,
Nope.
never.
All right. Democide refers to your own government killing you. Okay.
Wow.
Okay. That's democide. Okay. Let's look at, Adolf Hitler was mentioned. Look at him. He killed his own people, didn't he?
So,
Yeah.
Ace, democide is another form of murder.
It is a form of murder because it's murder
Okay.
by government, right?
Because somebody else killed you. Because suicide is only when you do it to yourself.
Yeah. It reminds me of
It's corruption.
reminds me of a joke. There's this guy. He says that it was a comedian. He says, I was raised in Seattle, Washington, highest suicide rate in the nation, and later ended up moving to New York City, New York, and then that's the highest homicide, rate in the nation. And he said, I guess I'm just not a do-it-yourself kind of guy, So anyway, little joke there, little humor. But democide, death by your own government. So we have cases like Adolf Hitler, but believe it or not, he's the small guy on the totem pole. Okay, Stalin in Russia did way worse. Killed way more people of his own. The Russian government killing the Russians in the communist revolution of Russia, right? So, kill like 3 times as many, that whatever your highest number of people report on. There's a whole debate on what that number is with Hitler, but the highest number, take the highest number of people say that Hitler killed of his own people. The Stalin and communist revolution killed, more than that. And then to put that to shame, you got China, the China Revolution, okay? And in China, the government China, as when it became communist, ended up killing like something, I think if I recall, like something around 100 million. So 100 million people were killed in the communist, China Revolution. And then there's a whole bunch of other dictators like Pol Pot, and there's a whole bunch of all over the world. You got North Korea even today. It's pretty. I don't think people even have an idea what goes on over there in North Korea, but people are killed regularly over there. By the government. And so, yeah, that's an unnatural death. Death by your own government. It's brutal. And that's been the leading cause of unnatural death in the world in the last 100 years, and most of us are unaware of it. Okay,
And it's going to get worse, eh?
it doesn't have
Bill
to.
Gates has his way and wants a 500 million population.
Yeah, yep. Well, my point
COVID was the test case.
Yeah, my point is it doesn't have to be, but what has to happen is that people need to realize that there's a shadow side to the world that we need to recognize, and the shadow could become much bigger if we let it. Okay. So this is why what we're doing here in pool funding matters so much, and why we have a message first and foremost that we want to get out to the world and say, there's just a better way to do things. And it's from the bottom up, not from the top down. Okay. These top down approaches are brutal. Think about it. Okay. Anything that's top down, it ends up having a brutality to it that most of us can't stomach. Most of us would not want to, participate or to, agree with it, right? But we end up just kind of going along because when things get thick and get really difficult, people are afraid to speak out, right? So when you're afraid to speak out, then you got real problems, right? When you still have the freedom to speak out, that's the window of opportunity to make change happen. Okay. You don't wait till the time where it's difficult to speak out to do something. But and again, speaking out is one thing. It's one thing to lodge a complaint. Okay. But what we're doing here in pool funding is we're lodging a solution. Okay. But it's underdeveloped, it's half-baked, it's not complete, it's in its infancy, right? But still, when you see what it turns into, okay, it is a solution. And that's because, like she recognized in that video, the money is sitting in the hands of the what she referred to as the elite, or some people refer to them as the top 1%, of the world. And it's true. That's where all the money is. Okay. Like 99% of all the money, plus, by the way, is in the hands of the 1%. Okay. Now, when I say in their hands, I really should say behind their screens. Because where's the money really sitting? Is it sitting in a dusty old vault in a basement somewhere in all these elite bunkers? No, no. It's stored in ones and zeros on on a computer servers, the digital form of the money in one version or another, and that's called the electronic market, which we all participate in anyway. The market is totally digital now. Okay, everything you do is down to ones and zeros. And you can look at that on a computer screen, even on a phone screen, whatever. Doesn't matter what the size is of the screen. You can see these numbers. So that's where the money's at. The money's in the market. Okay. Pool funding has acknowledged that that's where the money's at, and that's where we should go get it. We should get it. We don't get it from the elite. Get it from the market. Okay, it's there. Okay. And so slowly but surely, we're building a pump. Piece by piece, part by part, gear by gear. Okay, we're building it right now. That is basically going to be able to extract great quantities of money out of the market without really hurting anyone, and being able to spread that throughout humanity to create a luxury economy for humanity. So that's the big picture end goal here, okay, with our movement. So unlike what the young lady was thinking, that somehow we got to get the people at the top to sacrifice and that they're going to give up something that they already have in order to keep this this so-called economy moving along. Because she's right. If nobody has any jobs, like if the middle class and the lower classes don't have jobs, then they won't have any money to buy the stuff made by the elites. And then the elites can't make more money off the people because they can't buy their stuff, and then it turns in kind of like an implosion of sorts. So believe it or not, I'm an optimist simply because I'm a solution oriented way of looking at things, and I'm not just that. I'm not just a thinker. I'm a doer. I come to put together the solution, and you've joined me on this journey of creating a solution for humanity. Okay. Now, doesn't mean that it's easy to do any of this. Okay. But it is something that, we are doing, and it is moving forward step by step. We're getting there. So, all right. So if you hadn't heard, I did turn on the chat. So if you haven't put in your wallet address for the paid training today, feel free to do so. Okay. So I've already talked about what I want to talk about in regards to the big picture, responding to the video of the young lady that we watched and right before turning on the recording. And I did put that video up on the wall of joy for reference. Okay. Let's take a look at a chart. Now, there's about 300 of you that are here, okay? And you all benefit from what's going on in the chart I'm going to share with you, because your paid training is based on the PFG coin. 231, 230. Okay, we'll refresh that. Okay, fair enough. You get paid regardless if the price is $1 million or less than $1 million. Regardless of the price, you're getting paid 0.0005. Okay, so let's just do the math. You need to be aware that I'm no longer just going to tolerate you guys hammering the chart down. I'm not saying all of you are doing that, but those that have done that, they're impacting all of us. Okay. And then still paying you out whatever that might be. I mean, when it comes to PFG coins, there's only 10,000 of these coins, period. 10,000 of them. So we got to be a little bit careful with them. All right. So if we take $1 million, that's the price that this is based on. And we times that by what we pay you in the paid training, 0.4 zeros and a 5. Okay. That's $50. So what do you think happens, guys, when the price is 322,000? Are you getting $50?
No,
You're not. You're not. Well, how much are you getting paid? Okay, well, let's take a look at that.
about a third.
Yeah, so if we take 322,000, we'll just round it off there. And we times that by 0 point and then 4 zeros, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 5. That's what you're going to get paid. $16. Okay. $50 is really exciting, isn't it? $16, not so much. Would you guys agree?
Yep.
Okay. Well, it's out of my hands. It's in your hands to fix that. Okay. Believe it or not, if 300 of you all went in there right now and bought maybe $1 or $2 right now, the price would probably hit $1 million. Just by each of you, all 300 of you buying $1 or $2 right now. That it doesn't take much to make the price go up. Okay. It doesn't take much at all. So I would remind you that it's in your best interest to put attention on PFG. Now, we're not going to always pay out in PFG, but it's where we're going to pay out for now, because all the other prices of the other coins are way too low for me to even consider paying you $50 out of those values. Okay. Pretty much we need to get all the coins above $1 million, right? But since the PFG is the one that's the closest, and it really doesn't take much for it to get there, believe it or not. It's up to you guys to go push it up there. Okay, so if you enjoy the paid training, and you'll enjoy it even more if the value is $50. Would you guys agree with me? Yeah?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Go ahead.
Yes.
Go ahead, Lawless. You have your hand up.
Yes.
Yes.
Did you mean to put your hand up?
Yeah.
Maybe she's just agreeing. Maybe she just meant to give it a thumbs up that she agrees. So it's up to you guys to make it happen. So I encourage all of you to take the ownership seat that you're sitting in anyway, and pony up a couple of dollars and go to PancakeSwap or wherever and go ahead and buy a couple of dollars of PFG, so that maybe before the programmer does his job a few hours from now, the price could be at $1 million and you can get $50 instead of 16. It's up to you, go do it. Coordinate your teams, put some team spirit into it and make it happen. Okay. All right. Now, moving on to something else, because like I said, I got a long list of things to cover today. Let me show you another chart.
Can you hear me?
Okay, is that Lawless?
Yes.
I called for you before. Go ahead.
I was just wondering why my camera was turned off.
You were curling your hair, and I turned your camera off because I didn't think it was being very professional in front of the camera, my dear.
Oh.
That okay? Did I turn your camera off? Present yourself professional. I won't turn your camera off, but I just didn't appreciate you curling your hair while I'm doing my monologue. So I personally turned it off. Okay?
All right.
Okay. All right. Okay, so let me go back to sharing my screen and share another chart with you. Okay. All right, let's see here. Go to PML right here. Okay. Now it's hard to see this one. Let's see if I can make it bigger. That helps. Okay. All right. Now, obviously, we did a good job here. There's really no selling going on here. We went from basically 1 million to 1.2 million with really no selling at all happening. When we had a little bit of selling take place here on the PML chart, which there shouldn't be any because I think we did to turn it on there and we turned it on there. But that's it. We did have a couple spots where we turned it on, but some of these spots that you see afterwards, you see the recent selling you see here, that's as a result of some of you figured out how to take advantage of our software and we've been doing some things inappropriately. Okay. So I don't know. Some people might call these people the scammers in our community. Okay, because they've done is they figured out how they can, circumvent, doing the purchase by going directly to the contract instead of going through our website to engage it, where you can actually buy $100 of PML and instantly end up with $200 of PML. Okay, and then the same people turn around when they got $200 of PML, they'd sell it. You know what I'm saying? Because they think they're hiding. We have an idea who they are because they sometimes they leave little digital crumbs behind that we can track them back to the source. Even though they're being very tricky about the whole thing. But anyway, I refer to these people as my teachers. You know what I'm saying? Because I'd rather think of them as my teachers instead of my the scammers that are among us. Because we're getting better at figuring out how to stop them, is my point. And I think we're at that point now. We can finally say, okay, we've got the solution now where they can't get around it anymore. Okay. But up the last week or so, we've been dealing with them, and it's been kind of a chess game back and forth. But I think we got them cornered now where they won't be able to do that anymore. And so again, there should be no selling PML coin or any of the coins at this time because we have objectives with these coins. With the pool funding coins, the objective is hitting price targets. With the PML coin, the objective is price stability. So we have kind of an on-off switch right now for price stability. And what's that leading up to? When we have mature price stability, which doesn't take years, okay, I'm thinking it could happen as quickly as weeks, and I'm thinking probably on the outside maybe by February of next year. So between now and February, that's if it takes us months. Okay, so somewhere between weeks to months, depending on the overall behavior of the community. Okay, depending on that, before we reach what I call mature price stability with the PML coin. It'll be our first example of reaching price stability. Okay. What does that look like to those of you that are holding the PML coin? PML coin, yeah, pool micro lending. It means that the switch, the on-off switch that I'm talking about here, it'll be switched on, meaning you can sell anytime you want. And that switch stays on for a long time, like maybe at some point we never have to flip it off again. Okay. The idea is to, when you really truly have price stability, there's no need for a switch anymore, right? You just let it be. And, people buy and sell and buy and sell and buy and sell and all that. But the problem is this particular attack that we've had on, on us is impacting the people wanting to buy the PML coin based on the promo that we were offering, where they can get $200 of PML for $100, and they have a need to do that now, since we're basically making it a requirement if you want paid training. If you want paid training, you're going to have purchased at least $100 of PML, and here's an incentive to do so. You get $200 instead of 100. So, I've had to minimize how much I keep in that particular contract so that they don't just drain the coin down to zero. So they can only take out what I put in there, and I've only been putting in little small bits, and and then they would end up draining it, and then we think we got it fixed, and that's kind of what we've been through for the last couple of days. So this is just being open, transparent with you, what's going on behind the scenes. Maybe you're looking at the chart, scratching your head, why is there so much red on this thing, when there should be no red, right? Should be no red on there. Should just be buying, especially people buying $100 at a time. That should be like pump. That should be, we should already be at our price target for going into our third, switching it back on for another little sell-off to happen. But that didn't happen because of our teachers coming in, teaching us a lesson that we need to, tighten up our code even more than it has been. So anyway, it's all good. Everything happens for us, not to us. And I think it's important that we learn these particular lessons in coding. My programmer specifically needs to understand certain things now before things get really big, and we don't want these problems later when they get really big. So I completely understand why the universe is making this happen right now, and why some of you are playing that role on the opposition. Okay. I get it. Everything happens for us, not to us. All right. So that's an update on the PML, but need to know that the 15th is coming. So I think tomorrow will be the last time that we'll be doing a paid training where it's not a requirement. So after tomorrow, say on Thursday, that'll be, if you want paid training, you'll have to have purchased at least $100 of PML through the website. Okay. What am I talking about? Through the website. I'm talking about here. You need to come to the website, and you need to click this banner here, double your purchase, click the buy now, and you'll see a form, and you'll use the form, and then you'll never see it again, right? The form goes away. It's just a one-time thing, okay? You do one purchase, and that's it. Purchase $100, you get $200, okay? And that's a good deal. It's a great way to get started, and a great way for new members to join us, and that'd be a good way for them to get excited about what we're doing, and then they become qualified for training. Okay, notice that no check mark is required yet, but October 15th is coming right now. So since that's the case, it will be a requirement as of the 15th onward. Okay, and I'm going to say that maybe the 15th on Hawaii time. The state of Hawaii in the U.S. will make that kind of, their 15th. I'm already here on the 15th, not the 15th, but I'm on the 14th right now. Most of you are on the 13th that are listening to me. But we'll just say that. So basically, this requirement kicks in, as of the 15th, and you'll need to have done this in order to continue enjoying paid training. Okay, I think that's very, very clear. But the functionality of our tool needs to be bulletproof, which is what we're working on right now, being that It has to be done through the website. Just going to the contract directly. I mean, you got to be pretty smart to do that, by the way. My hat's off to the people that know how to do that. You know, it's a professional, acknowledgement, one enemy to another, right? My hat's off to you. You got us there, but we got to figure out how to stop you. We know what we got to do. And the programmer is going to take care of that first thing. This morning, we'll be taking care of that, and should not be an issue any longer. And we should stop seeing so much red on the PML chart. Okay. We should see a lot of green. Should push us up to our next price target, which is 1.4 million. Once we hit that, we'll turn selling back on for whatever. When it comes back down to 1.2 million, the selling will be stopped. So, hey, what happens if we never get down to 1.2 million? Then we leave selling on. Whose hands are that in? It's in your collective hands. Okay. So that's the whole idea. So price stability is reached that way. And in the more cooperation we have, the faster price stability will kick in. Okay. And this is why we've got to be wary of those people that, show, signs that we should be concerned. Some people, by the way they talk, by the way that they express themselves, they're showing signs that we can't trust them. We need really a group of people that we trust. That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking to build a group of people, like 300 right now. I like to build a group of 300 people that I can really trust. Okay, that's the whole point of the paid training. I'm looking for people I can trust, because without that, we ain't going to go anywhere. Okay, because eventually it turns into 1,000 people I can trust, and then 10,000 people I can trust. And if I can trust them, you should all be able to trust them. That's the idea, is that we get to a point where we're so tight and we're so on the same page, and we recognize that we all have a common enemy. And that is the people that want to depopulate the planet, okay, as a solution to the same problem that we're trying to fix with a luxury economy, okay? So our solution is a luxury economy. That's where we're coming from. You could say our real enemy are those people that have the power and the means and the motive to depopulate the planet. Okay. Who are they? Well, maybe do a little bit of internet searching. You can probably get an idea who they are. But they're real. They're, mostly human, I think. And maybe some that aren't, But we are facing a situation where we're being boxed in, okay? And if enough of us are not catching on to what's going on, then depopulation may be the result of it's a win or lose here, guys. We either win or we lose. Okay. Honestly, I'm fine either way, because I'm not stuck to this reality. I mean, I'm already in other realities, so I'm not stuck with this one. So existence shall continue. That's where I come from, no matter what. Ruth Brown, you got your hand up. Is that you would like to say something?
Yes, Ace.
Yes, go ahead,
Yes.
Ruth. Yes.
I've been trying to buy the coin for $100 on my site, and it's not working.
Yeah, it may not be working right at this moment until the programmer fixes it, but give it maybe 2 more hours and it should be working by then.
Oh, okay.
Because it's been kind of like I said, we've had to turn it on and off, as a result of, but it's just, I think if I ask where the programmer is right now, he's probably still in his car at this moment. He's not at the office yet. So we're having our meeting early as far as he's concerned.
Okay.
All right. So when he gets in office, that's the first thing he's got to do. But we talked about it last night before he went to bed. And it's like, okay, this is how we solve this. And we were like, it was like a light bulb, like, yep, that's it. That should do it.
Okay, so just try again?
Yeah,
is
just
what
try
you're
again in a
saying?
couple
Like,
hours. Yeah, he should have it. It's
Oh,
kind of a minor thing you
okay,
got to
all
do.
right.
A
Okay,
little tweak
thank
to
you.
something he's already done. Just like if you add this, then boom, it will work. Those guys will
Okay,
be able to get in there and do what they do. They've been really tricky. These guys, it's been a chess game with these guys. And that's the funny thing is that, because it's been a back and forth, they have slipped and they kind of identified who they are. So we know who they are, so they're they've clued us in. Anyway, like to a point, what I'm saying. But yeah. All right, there you go, Ruth. So sorry about that. I know a lot of you would love to pay that right now, but it should be working in a couple hours. As soon as I get done here on this Zoom call, I'll be calling the programmer and just say, hey, let's get it done. That's priority one. Yeah. So
all right, thank you.
just as a reminder, because it's in his hands at this
I'll
point.
try again.
All right. Thank you.
Sir Ace.
Who is that?
Hi, Sir Ace.
That would be Marge.
me.
Hey, Marge, how are you?
Hi, sir. Good, sir. Sir, I just want to ask, do we have already the rebates or does
Come again?
rebates? Rebates.
The rebates
Rebate.
from
Oh,
the
yes, we do. Rebates are functioning and working, but still manual. So basically, the programmer, that's just another daily task he's got to do. Is any rebates have got to be done by the programmer. So if you haven't seen the rebate yet, it's coming. But you can see. I can show you, for example, on mine that it's happening and what it looks like. So, yeah. A lot of stuff we're doing is currently, it is currently manual processes, but eventually everything becomes automated. So if we go to the dashboard, and you'll see right here rebate history. Okay, so and he paid them here. 1, 2, 3, 4. Okay, and then I say, hey. These guys are supposed to get double rebates. That's what it says down here. If it's over $50,000 and we did a good job keeping it above 50,000, they get double rebates. And he was like, oh, and then they got paid again. 1, 2, 3, 4. But in the future, you'll probably just see entries of $100 instead of two $50 entries, like you see on my screen here. So it's in the rebate history. Okay. And then up here, it'll give you a total number of how much you've been paid in rebates so far. Up here, the total. So that's how that works. So it's functioning, working. It's just things that the programmer has to do daily for now, just to kind of do that. You can see with our problem with our PML promo, when you automate too quickly, people come in and suck you dry. You know what I'm saying? So this is why manual processes are a buffer, and we use them, so that we, in the case of the rebates being used, because it protects us from, having a bunch of coins sucked out that shouldn't go be used in a certain way. But eventually everything gets worked out where we can trust the automation. That's just coding. It's a grind, to be honest with you. But thanks for bringing it up. Nike, is it Nike? Who was that brought it up? No, Marge. You moved on my screen.
Thank you, sir.
Marge. You're welcome, Marge. Okay. So now we've talked about the PML. We've talked about paid training. We've talked about that you've got to purchase $100 of PML once it's working in a couple hours, but in order to continue to get paid training. We looked at the charts on both PFG and PML. Okay, I do have a couple more things I want to go over. But Rosalie, you want to add something to this? You got your hand up.
Yes, sir. I just want to ask about our first loan. Yes. In our transaction hash, our collateral is not returning to us. experience my 5 loans, my first 5 loans.
It has for me. So, so I'll show you an example. So case by case, there could be situations or bugs, right? You know that, being one of the executives.
Yes, sir.
But I can show you, proof that it is working. Okay. So let's see here. We go to lend. And if I go here, I got some people being that it's only on the default. So like this one was PFB 0.014 would be the minimum amount of PFB I would get, right? I get at least that or more depending on the price. So if the price went down, then I'd get more. If the price went up, that's how much I get. And then I click here for the default. And you see I got more. I got paid more. 1.5,
Yes, sir.
1.5 instead of the 1.4. Okay, where do you go? 1.4, right? 0.014. Let's see here. Back to is it here? Yeah. So I got PFB token. I got paid extra because the price went down and I needed more. I needed to get at least $100 of PFB in return, right? So it works.
Yes, sir.
Case by case, it doesn't, and I don't want to talk about that right now.
Yeah, I know, sir. So what I mean is my loan. I borrowed, but when I pay, I did not get my collateral.
Okay, when you paid your loan, you didn't get your collateral back.
Yeah,
Okay, that you should have
I
been
paid
paid.
my loan, but my collateral did not return.
All right. Well, that
I did not.
might have been from before, but I think that's also been fixed. To my knowledge, what you're talking about has been fixed.
Okay.
So you might have been in what you're talking about the early ones that were So just like everybody else, you just need to get that in front of the programmer to get that resolved. Okay. So go to Maria. In other words,
Yes, sir.
channel that to Maria. She'll get it to the programmer and get your collateral back. This is why we created a smart contract. So before we didn't have a smart contract. So remember the transition that we did when it was like click, 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 and then you were done when it comes to borrowing. But now you got to go click, 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 click. There's a lot more clicking involved in borrowing because that's setting up the smart contract. Okay, just for the reference point. And that was done a couple weeks ago, Rosalie. So you're bringing up ancient history at this point.
Yes, sir. We saw that.
It
It
might be your personal thing. Guys, I do not want training calls be turned into personal, complaints. Okay, personal, people coming up with their own personal problems. Okay, it's not a good place to do it. This is recorded on YouTube. Let's keep it professional, Rosalie. And so yeah, case by case, things be resolved. But that has already been fixed. There might be some people that before the fix was in, they didn't get their collateral, and that's something you need to lodge back to the programmer to get get your collateral back. Okay. But yeah, understand the programmer has been busy with a lot of other priorities, so it's kind of a peppering of he's got to pepper in these little things like fixing what you're talking about, Rosalie. That's peppered into other projects that, like the project he's working on now, which I'm going to talk about now. So that is our exchange. So here's, after he gets done fixing the little thing that we got to do on the PML promo so that the teachers or the scammers can't come back in there and circumvent it and get more than their fair share. Once that's in place, then let me show you I'm going to show you just a little sampling of the exchange we're working on now. Okay. I got an image here. Let me just grab the image real quick. Okay. Let's see. How do I do this? Maybe I just copy this real quick. So I have it handy. Sorry, someone's doing some major spamming on Telegram right now. Okay, let me share my screen. All right. Okay, so our exchange is coming. Okay, now this exchange has zero to do with USDT. Okay, zero. So it's not an exchange back and forth in any way, shape, or form to US dollar, USDT. Okay, what it is it's an exchange between our coins, the PML coin against the pool funding coins. Okay, so you can see here in the image you're looking at, the PML, the pool funding coins are represented in a pull down menu. You see that little caret right there, guys? Can you guys see that right there?
Yes. Yes.
That's a pull down menu where you can open it up to look at all four of the coins, and you can select any one of the four coins from that pull down menu. That's the pool funding coin. And then this is the PML coin. Okay. So the way this exchange works is it's off market, meaning it will have zero impact on the price of our coins in the market. It's being done through our website, meaning that it will not impact the market. So we're almost done with this. I think we're at the testing phase. That's what's going to happen today is he's testing it. But what does this exchange do? It has limitations to it. Okay. If you have in excess of $6,000 of PML, okay, which I do, I have way more than $6,000 of PML in my account, my Ace Fletcher account that I'm using for the website. If you have more than it, you can swap that out for pool funding coin. Okay. Now, as you know, the pool funding coins are about to go through, transition themselves from old coin to new coin, and the values are going to be, sharply different, So this is very valuable. This needs to be done before we do that change, so people can move out of the PML. Now, why 6,000? Well, if you have 6,000, then you're maximized exactly what the website can do for you. You can do up to 2 loans per day as a lender, so that's $100 a day, which is you're lending out $3,000 a month in 30 days, which means you would need to have $6,000 in order to keep above the $3,000 minimum that you need to have in order to take advantage of that offer, right? You have to have a $3,000 minimum in order to do 2 loans a day. So, and if you're doing $3,000 worth of loans per month, that's why you need 6,000. So 3,000 plus 3,000 is 6,000. That's why we set it for 6,000. Some of you are sitting on tens of thousands of dollars of PML. I think about 40 of you, 40 of you are sitting on about, to have more than $6,000 right now of a PML, and the price of PML is going up. So, that means that you'll probably want to move that over to pool funding coin. Okay. Now you got to choose how much you want to send to each coin. That's what the exchange will allow you to do. And you will have no problem once this is all functioning and working after it's been tested doing so. Okay, so it does that. And on the other hand, some of you may be challenged in paying back your loans because you don't have enough USDT to go to the market and buy the PML that you would need in order to pay off the loans that you might have. You maybe have 4 loans that are out, but you don't have enough to go buy it from the market. And so to help you out a little bit there, we're allowing you to do up to $400 worth of exchanging your pool funding coins for PML. Okay, so once you've used up 400 in any given calendar month, that's it. You have to wait till the next month to do the same. And that, just creates like a safety net, if you will, for people that want to, we do need more borrowers, right? We're short on borrowers. So this will actually make those people very, very happy, because then they at least know that they can do this. They can turn around and convert their pool funding coins into PML to pay off their loans when the time comes. Okay. So that's what the purpose of the exchange is, to bring some relief there, and all done so in a way that it does not impact the market whatsoever. Okay. Stop share. Is that a clear explanation of the exchange?
Yeah.
I'd say so.
Yes.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Now, obviously, eventually we want to get price stability in all of our coins so that you can just go to the market and get USDT. You know what I'm saying? If that's what you'd like to do, right? But as you can see, it is a process, not an event. PML is now our best example that we can show of what the process looks like, because we failed miserably in getting anywhere, any real achievement, what we need. Not really liking the emojis coming from Matola. So do you want to talk about that? What's going on with you? Now, heart's much better, but some of your other emojis
Sorry.
we're not really being,
Sorry,
they seem a little negative to
I'm
me.
sorry.
Okay.
No, I'm not being negative.
Okay.
Not at all.
Okay, good deal. All right. Just checking on you. All right. So the when we reach price stability on all of our coins, then happy days from that point forward, really. And just watch carefully how the process proceeds with PML. As you see it forming there, then you'll be like, okay, this is how it works, right? So like if you take, for example, the fact that we're providing a way for you to get double your money instantly, turning $100 into $200, by putting that offer out there like that, that's a strong incentive to buy pool funding, PML coin, in addition to the fact that you need to do it if you want paid training, right? So if you want to collect $200-300 a week in paid training, once the price is over $1 million, right? That's what it'd be worth. If you want to collect that, you got to pay $100. So you got multiple reasons to buy the PML coin, which puts positive buying pressure onto PML. You can never, ever reach price stability in anything. Rice, US dollars, real estate, whatever. You can't reach price stability in anything without positive buying pressure. If there's zero positive buying pressure, you're going to have a falling price in an open market. Okay. All right. So Scott, I think Scott wants to say something. Can you unmute him? Go ahead, Scott.
Well, I am unmuted now, but they keep muting me for some reason. And there's no sound coming from here until I want to speak. So why do they keep muting me?
I don't know. I don't know. Maybe they're just trying to protect the monologue, I guess. They see you. But if you'd like to say something, go ahead. You're free to do so. Okay, you're good.
I just wanted to be honest, obviously, because sometimes you say something and then you want a response, and then if I'm muted, I can't say, yeah, I agree.
Okay.
So,
All right, guys, lay off of Scott. Let him keep his microphone. As long as there's background, I don't hear any background noise. It's fine. But they're just trying to
Okay.
manage a group of 300 people, Scott. So, it's just
Yeah,
easier
yeah,
to
yeah.
mute
Say that,
everyone,
yeah.
right? Okay. All right. So, so I want you guys to understand that we want price stability, but price stability without positive buying pressure, it doesn't work. So some of us are broken in the way that we think. Okay. Some of us think that things just work automatically. Like everything just is, everything just works. There's nothing behind it. Like it's just magically everything works, right? That's just not true. Okay. The truth of the matter is that if you can't have both things, you can't have, no buying pressure on something, and then also think I can just sell as much as I want of this thing, and it's not going to hurt anyone, right? You can't have it both ways. This is why we put the promo together, and we've got two incentives. One is the paid training. So if you want paid training, you're going to have to buy PML coin, $100 worth, right? One time, right? And also, if you want a quick way to double $100, buy PML coin, right? So the two things together is a positive, influence on people buying the PML coin. And people are buying it, like $100 at a time. And so a lot of people in our community, they don't have $100 needs when it comes to selling the coin. Okay. When you really think about it, think about what do people, how much do they really need to sell, honestly? And we've seen that there's a desire to sell $20, right? And people have been happy to collect $20, right? So imagine that. Imagine if someone were to sell $20 and someone were to buy $100, that's greater positive buying pressure than there is selling. Okay, so you got $100 coming in and $20 going out, right? That would be a price that's moving upward. Okay. So as long as we understand that as a community, we resist the temptation to sell unnecessarily, like it should get to a point where only necessity, compels us to do anything. We don't do things because we just want to do something, right? Let necessity be our guide instead of just, our wish list and our dreams, that, may or may not be realistic, what I'm saying, at any given moment. So, and be fair with the rest of the community, because realize that this is a shared resource, right? Right. So, we put in some measures like the on and off switch. I provide you signals when to buy, when to sell, and that's also going to be put on the website, a signal. So I won't be doing that forever. It'll be on the website and it'll be automated as well. Yeah. So, but at some point, we're working towards the objective of mature price stability. And what that looks like is that there's no need for signals anymore. There's no need for switches anymore. We just leave it on. You can sell as you wish. And if we have a community that's thinking properly, right, they only sell out of necessity. They're not selling because they just want to have a little over here, right? Especially you got something that's appreciating in value. Why would you want to sell it? So that's kind of the point of all of our coins. They should be appreciating in value for the next few years quite a bit. Okay. So the cash flow should be coming from the cash flow machine. That's separate. Well, that's basically on the pool funding website. Okay. If you really do need cash, you should use the cash flow machine. Okay. Let me share my screen. Share screen. And what does that look like? Okay. So right here, every time your referrals, okay, anytime your referrals are paying you, for buying coin out of the stockpile, okay, they're paying you directly. Okay. That's the cash flow. So like here, I've cash flowed $70,000 in this example here over the last 311 days. Okay, over the last 311 days on the $100 pool, I've cash flowed, 70,100. Technically, but maybe I didn't keep all of it, right? But that's technically what I cash flowed. Okay. But that's the cash flow machine. And that's at the end of the day, that's the most important part of what we're building. If we want to zero in on like the dead bullseye center of what we're doing here, we're building a cash flow machine that everyone in the world can use that is attached to the market through our coins, right? And that's how the pump is pumping money out of the market, right? Okay. Through our coins, channeling through there, comes in and through USDT into the hands of you, the individual. Okay. And you're unlimited there. You just need to bring something to the table. Referrals. You bring referrals to the table and they access the same machine, the same as you do. And that's how it works. So that's what everything, all these other things that we're doing are basically supporting that. Never forget that what we all want the same thing: cash flow, money now, money every day, US money, spendable money, right? Accumulating coins is fun. Building wealth is fun. It's not necessarily spendable. It's fun. It looks great on a screen. But at the end of the day, we got bills to pay and and that's where the cash flow comes in. And always remember that we've got the full picture, but we're infantile, we're a toddler, we're past the baby stage, but we're definitely still wobbly. We're still, we need a spanking once in a while, stuff like that. We're just a little toddler at this stage. We're not anywhere near fully developed, powerful cash flow machine situation right now. We're not there yet, but we're getting there. Every day that goes by, every week goes by, as we continue to develop and as we garner greater and greater support and cooperation from all of you, we get there faster. Okay. We don't have to take 18 years to develop into a fully developed thing here, like a human being would. Okay. It can happen much faster, but it really depends on software development and cooperation from all of you. Those are the two components that make the most. And I do the best to provide leadership. And I'm developing other leaders below me. And you've got a support team with the executive team. These are all components of a system that's going to provide you a future other than death. Because if we leave it to the other guys, they just want to kill you. Okay? They don't care if you're 25 years old or if you're 55 years old or if you're 15 years old. Their democide plans, their plans for mass population depopulation plans. Okay, they don't care how old you are. They don't care how productive you could have been or what you could have brought to the table, because they don't need you anymore. They got the AI and the robots. Okay, so they either win or we win. Okay, we win, we end up with a luxury economy. They win, we end up dead. Me, I'm fine either way. Okay, I don't care what happens. I'm fine. I've reached a point now that I'm not playing either of those games. I'm just going to play my role out here while I'm here. As long as I'm here, I'm going to do the best I can while I'm here. But I'm already spending a lot of time in other realities. Okay, so I'm not attached to this reality anymore. Okay, this reality it's not even fun anymore. I'm in much funner places now. So anyway, so I just need you guys to realize that we can win the game. Okay, this is a game as far as I'm concerned, and create this luxury economy, and that could greatly reduce suffering. Okay, I think really the main point of the game here is, can this life be lived without suffering? Can you come down here and actually grow and experience and, and develop in certain ways without really brutal, harsh suffering being attached to it. And I'm optimistic that the answer is yes, you can. I think there's power there. We just have to tap into it. I think the yeah. As far as brutal suffering goes, I think we can do away with that completely. I just think that there's no need for it. But yeah, there's still a need to go out and go to the gym, work out, your muscles might ache for a minute or two or a little bit of time. And that you could consider that a light suffering, a little bit of, light manageable suffering. But some of the things we've been through, like, World War I, World War II, just make two examples, the kind of brutality that happened in those wars, the kind of suffering that took place both home and abroad, as a result of, that kind of carnage, that's the kind of suffering we'd like to, why does mankind have to resort to war? There's not really a need for it. If you really think about it, if we get rid of the parasites that want to basically create those situations, and let the people from the bottom up kind of like determine what reality is all about while we're here, most of us have no really big desire to create war. There's very few of us that have that desire. Most of us just want to live and let live. How many of you agree with that? Live and let live? Yeah.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Okay.
Yep.
So maybe we can wrap it up on that one. Live and let live, right? Because at the end of the day, that's really what it's all about. Creating a world where that's doable. Live and let live. Everybody unmute and say it. Live and let live.
Live and let live.
Live and let live.
Let live.
Live and let live.
Yeah.
Live and let live.